So what I see with a lot of practice owners, these are medical practitioner practice owners at exit, is that you end up typically with a large property pool. This is quite common. This might not reflect your financial position, but this is sort of the general framework that I see. Is that most of your wealth will be tied to some sort of property, whether it be residential or commercial. And then somewhere anywhere between 20 to 40% of your wealth would be tied to that proceeds from the sale of the practice. And then the smallest bucket will tend to be super, but sometimes some of the properties sits inside super, but that's anywhere between 10 to 20%. So these are the patterns that I've seen in my career. And where Zatteo fills the gap is really trying to balance the portfolio. So what do we do with the proceeds that you receive? Where does it sit? I often talk about buckets. Which buckets do we put into, or which structures do we put into? And you, as the matriarch or the patriarch of the family, sits at the top, and the bucket sits underneath you. And our job is to try and make sure that those buckets are working in the most tax efficient manner, but also in the most asset protective manner. So balancing that for you in conjunction to your property portfolio, creating an income without really selling your perhaps your large property portfolio assets. How do we generate sufficient income to replace the income that you were used to receiving when the practice was alive? And then coordinating tax and structure, as I mentioned. And we really wanted to reduce concentration risk over time. So what you end up seeing is that the blue bar will start to grow and close that gap between property and the blue bar.